is my buddy and me. Got my boat hooked up to my Chevy truck. I'm running high on luck. I ain't ever coming down. Time to back the boat down the ramp again. Do everything we can to come back in with a winning side. That's a life of a fisherman you wouldn't understand. Something you can't feel on dry land. You gotta get your arms way up in a kayak and set the hook on a smallmouth bass, and then you'll understand. You gotta get your hands on a Shimano and a G that's trying to bet you like what you feel. Step on a day, give it a whirl. I'm telling you guys, I'm gonna have to get a hold of Tyler Waller and see if I can use that song permanently. Kicking the show off, kicking off this 10 series with that song, My World. I wonder if I can get him talked into doing a kayak version, because he's obviously, he's a glitter boat guy. No disrespect, nothing wrong with the glitter boat, but he's a glitter boat guy. Good dude, runs on another line. So you guys check that out if you can. But I need to see if I can get him to do. I want the same song, the same tempo, the same everything, but I want it in the kayak space. You know what I mean? Blasting off with the torpedo, something about, I don't know, something about the drip of the paddle, or the way, the something with, with the drive. I don't know, but I know that we need that. I need, there's some guys musically talented in the kayak space. Why do we not have a kayak song? Like something that, come on, guys. One of you guys, somebody come up with that. We need a kayak anthem. We need a kayak anthem. So Kenwood, if you're watching, you normally are, you're a music junkie. Find us. We need a kayak anthem. Somebody bring to the table a kayak anthem that I can make the start of the show. Or Tyler, bro, make it happen. We've got a packed house already. I mean, look at the holy geez Louise. I'm assuming that you guys are here for Russ, right? I mean, you guys are not here for me. Let's just be honest, right? I look a little different without the hat on, right? That big old bald noggin. Y'all are here for Russ. You got to be. I mean, there's no way there's this many people in here for me tonight. So the champs in here, Elsie, what's up? Eric Morris, Nicholas Beltran in the house, Sean Scott, South Carolina, Jeremy from Indiana. You guys are already dropping this in here. Jeremy, Devil Dog, huh? What's up? Semper Fi, sir. Semper Fi. Brock Howell is up. You guys already know what's up, right? Sam Jones in the house. You guys already know what's up in the comment section right now. Let's do this. Drop in the comment section where you're watching from. We love to see those statistics roll in and see where everybody's tuning in from. Yeah, just like that, right? So if you guys are new to this, which you should not be, this is night 12 in a row. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm still lucid, still there. This is night 12 in a row. We've got planned. Let me make a quick little announcement. Tomorrow night, we were planning to do, or are planning to do, have been planning to do, whatever you want to preference that with, a show with Ron Champion and Corey Dreyer. Just kind of a wrap-up show and talk a little bit about the first 10. Tomorrow night is the College Football National Championship. I know that there's playoffs on tonight, guys. I get it. Multitask. You can do it. But tomorrow, we're not going to do the show tomorrow night. We're going to do the show Tuesday night with Corey Dreyer and Ron Champion. So that'll get announced up tomorrow and get thrown out there. So back Tuesday night to the regular scheduled showing. We'll have on Ron and Corey for the wrap-up of this 10 and 10 Invitational and this series here. We'll have both those guys on. We missed Ron on the first night of this event when we had the other 3 champs on. So anyway, you guys share this up and you smash that share button. Make sure you use hashtag DZ10 and be entered in to win $1,000 gift card from DZ that Corey and Ron are going to are going to search that hashtag. Corey and Ron Tuesday night are going to search the hashtag DZ10 and one of you guys will be able to win. Guys, I'm excited for the show tonight. Russ is a dude who in the Southeast has this kind of cult following, right? I mean, he's a dude that's put in the time, put in the grind, very, very cerebral, much like Casey, much the way he breaks down water a lot like Josh, but he's cerebral like Casey. Like the more I talk to him and the more I watch him online, the more I read articles and things about him, the more I realize that this dude, like he's another level for a reason. Like all of these guys have mentioned his name before tonight because if you spend some time around this guy, you realize that he's got that killer instinct. Like he plans and lays out everything. It's methodical. It's almost you got anybody ever watch Dexter? Right? It's almost that kind of like obsessive, compulsive, like just, I mean, organized to a T, ready so that when he rolls in, it's go time. Like it's game face, it's structured. I don't know that there's anybody else that's this obsessed. And that sounds bad, but in the right way. This guy's obsessed with what he does on the water, and he's proven it. I mean, the guy came in this year and and fought and clawed his way all the way up to the very top, and ended up bringing it all home. And in honesty, he left money and left well, there's a word for it. You guys know what I'm talking about, but left, titles on the table because I don't believe, and I'll find out from him exactly, but I don't believe he fished. He didn't. He could have won the challenge championship and a couple other things. We'll get with Russ and find out exactly what that was. But point blank, he left money on the table, which I know Josh Stewart's excited about. But I don't know how Russ feels about that. Let's get Russ on the show. Let's get this thing started off the right way. You guys ready? What's going on, Facebook Live? Woo! What up, everybody? Welcome to the weigh-in. I'm your host, Scott Beutjer. We're on with the kayak bass fishing angler of the year, Mr. Russ Snyders. Let's bring him on, guys. Let's talk about the 10, talk about the 2019 season. Let's talk to Russ and see what's up. What's up, buddy? How are you?
Hey, Scott, doing good. Thanks for having me on, buddy.
Not a problem, man. How's it going?
Oh, not too bad. Just getting things done and preparing for the year.
Yeah, preparing is something I feel like you're always doing, right?
Always, man. Always. Can't be too prepared.
I like, I made a joke earlier, with your plant in the background. Is that your pigeon tree? Is that your grass line at home? He's a constant pro. Rock, he's rocking the hook one, rocking the eye rod. I mean, now you're a California native, but you've been in Tennessee for, I mean, multiple years, right? Long time.
About 7 years now. I'm 37, about to turn 38. So yeah, I think it's 7, maybe 8. I lose track, but yeah, I've been here a while, and I definitely love it out here. And moving out of California is probably one of the best decisions that I've made. And yeah, I haven't looked back. It's been a good decision.
How long you been running? The guys over at Hook One are phenomenal. How long you been running with those guys?
Uh, this will be my third year now. With them, with Craig and Chris Conder, and all those guys. Great company to work for, and great group of guys. Hang out and share information with too.
That's good stuff, man. Good stuff. Now you're essentially in the heart of Nashville, right?
Yeah, just probably 5 minutes from downtown. But yeah, Nashville's a great place. As you probably know, for fishing, as far as getting outdoors and getting fishing, there's pretty much unlimited options as far as lakes and rivers you can explore around here.
Now, Russ, I want to go way back. Let's start over. Let's go way back, bro. Growing up in Cali, the family fished. I mean, you like so many of these other guys in this house in just a couple weeks. I mean, you pretty much grew up with a rod and reel in your hand on the water, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been fishing. I mean, for as long as I can remember, probably 2 or 3 years old. My dad got me into fishing as a little kid. We grew up in the Bay Area, so I was close to the bay, the ocean, and there wasn't actually a lot of lakes around there. I did a little bit of lake fishing, but my dad had a little like family cruiser type boat, but we'd take it out under the Golden Gate and go for salmon and halibut and rockfish, and fish in the bay for a lot of striped bass. And I'd go up into the Delta, and that's the thing about California is there's a little bit of everything to do out there. So my grandfather did a little fishing. My mom's father, he was more into fly fishing and trout fishing up in the Sierras. So I did a little bit of that, and probably wasn't until, I guess the first time I went bass fishing was probably on a camping trip when I was maybe 10, 11 years old. And I fell in love with that right away, and grew up watching all the Rowan Martin and Bill Dance and all that, and I'd see Bassmasters on TV. So I think it was about when I was 16 years old when I actually got into the bass fishing tournaments. My father and I. But yeah, we started off actually in a little Zodiac raft. It was like a little 11, 12-foot raft, put a bow mount motor on it, and a cooler. And I mean, there was, between the battery, the gas can, all that, there's barely enough room to even just stand in one spot. But would compete in the, like a semi-pro bass boat tournament. So they'd have horsepower categories. It'd be like 1 to 100 horsepower and 101 and up. So we started competing against a bunch of bass trackers and stuff like that. But yeah, so
But that's where you learned, right? I mean, that's where you grew. I mean, that's where that's where you lick the chops. That's where you take the beatings. That's where you start growing, right? That's the foundation that you poured for Russ Snyders that we all know now in the kayak space of being the hammer that you are.
yeah, it all started from there, and just just kept progressing as I got 19, 20 years old. I finally saved up to get my own little bass boat, and I jumped right into fishing pro-am tournaments and some team tournaments too, and did that for a number of years. And time I was maybe 5, 6 years of that. By the time I was about 25, I got kind of burnt out of tournament fishing actually, and at that point just started guiding for the next 5 years, and moved back out here, and didn't really get back into tournaments until just a few years ago with the kayak tournaments here.
Now, where did that kick in? Where did you start finding? I mean, I reference them all the time as these amazing little plastic boats. But I mean, where did that pick up for you? Where did you really start seeing the kayak life, much less the competitive kayak life?
So when I first got out here, I actually had these like kick boats or pontoon boats. They're pretty popular in California, and I don't see them so much out here. But I'd take those things out on the rivers, the Harpeth River, Buffalo River. There's a lot of good rivers here in Middle Tennessee, and I was kind of new to the area. Didn't have a lot of friends because I just moved out here, and I'd go onto Facebook and see the different Facebook pages and clubs and stuff like that for these kayak tournaments. So kind of went hand in hand because they're kind of fishing a lot of the rivers and a lot of the same stuff. So caught my interest, and finally I'm like, hey, I should get back into the tournament thing, and it'd be a great way. The main reason really was just to meet friends and join one of the clubs, and yeah, so I got a kayak and joined KBF TN, and that was 3 years ago or so now. So I just started really fishing the KBF tournaments last year. It was my first full season. I think I did one or two the year before, so I wasn't technically a rookie, I guess, with the KBF.
I got you. And now, I mean, you started finding success pretty quickly, and not only that, but I mean, Tennessee. I mean, you and Josh both, y'all live, I mean, relatively close to one another. I mean, Tennessee's got, I mean, hammer after hammer after hammer. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So, I mean, you got a lot of competition. I know that a lot of the clubs up there do a lot of things during the week. Do you compete in a lot of those events too?
Yeah, so like half our tournaments will be Tuesday night tournaments. They'll go from like 5:30 to 10:30 or 10, somewhere around there. It depends. Then they have Saturday tournaments and a couple 2-day tournaments as well. And there's about 8 to 9 tournaments for a season. And like I said, that's all, up until this year, that was my main focus, was just kind of staying local. We fish Old Hickory Lake, Percy Priest, and sometimes just the Cumberland River. It goes through Nashville there. But yeah, I met a ton of good friends. All a lot of my good fishing friends, all part of that club. Adam Reiser, me and him travel together. He's part of that club.
Adam's phenomenal.
He is a great
Yeah,
guy.
dude.
We get along really well. and Josh Stewart. Craig Dye used to be part of that club too. He
Craig's
used
a
to go to
jerk.
Georgia.
Nobody likes Craig Dye. I'm so tired of Craig this,
Yeah.
Craig that. I'm over Craig
You,
Dye. No,
you're in
Craig.
Georgia too. You're in
No,
Georgia, right?
Craig's one of my best friends. I love Craig
Yeah.
to death. Yeah, yeah.
Are you in
But
Georgia?
do what now?
You're living in Georgia
Yeah,
currently.
I'm in Georgia. Yeah, me and Craig are
Yeah,
about
he
an hour
was.
and a half
Yeah.
from one another. Yeah, we just
Okay.
saw each
Cool.
other last weekend. We were up at we went up and took Clint Henderson and Christine Fisher's class together.
Oh
We sat
yeah.
side by
So.
side, and I copied off of his notes. He's a phenomenal angler. I learned so much from him. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, Craig's incredible. He's good folks. But so with you coming in and I mean, really just in, like you said, in this 2.5, 3 year little time span, I mean, you've really gone from, I mean, flat out, you've gone from local, local tournament and kind of being up. And I want to say, speaking of Craig, I think didn't Craig call it last year that you would be the AOY this year?
I don't know if Craig did. I know Josh did.
Yeah, Josh did. I think Craig was talking to a lot of folks. I know that Craig down here in the, Craig being in Georgia now, like I said, talking to a lot of community. I mean, you've been one of those guys. So on the local scene, that's what I want to get to. Best advice, best thing that you can tell someone coming in about the local clubs and the local community and fishing those things. I mean, you're kind of you're the kind of the big dog in the sport right now. You're gonna have to take on a little bit of this mentorship role, right? So what would you give the best pieces of advice for folks that are on the outside listening in or tuning in and saying, look, there's been a lot of conversation about this kayak stuff. How do I get into that? I mean, in your experience locally, what's the best way to do that?
I mean, yeah, my best advice is, yeah, just to join a club and start fishing the tournaments, and don't be scared to get out and start talking to people, making friends, and uh, the more you meet some friends through it, and you get fishing with them, and I feel like the more people you can fish with, the more you can learn, no matter what their skill level. So I used to do a lot of guide trips and stuff, and I'd learn stuff from the people that I was taking guiding all the time. If you just kind of keep your ears open and, kind of bounce ideas off each other, ask questions, and that's really how you become a better angler, is just by getting to know other fishermen and kind of picking their brains, and, really just being a good listener and hearing what people have to say a lot of times, rather than, proving what you know, I think is a big part of it.
Now, I'm gonna shift gears again on you here, bro. Welcome to the hot seat, right? We're gonna shift gears again. I've heard a rumor, and I want you to address it. I hope you don't get mad at me here. I asked you if there was anything you didn't want me to talk about. You said no. So I've heard a rumor that your left thumbnail
I
is
know where
kept, right? You know where I'm going with this. You got
yeah.
worried for a minute. Not that kind of rumor, but I've heard that your left thumbnail during tournament season, you keep it different than your right for a reason. Is that?
Yeah.
Can you confirm
So
that?
yeah. So well, it's for opening up split rings, is what
So
it
this
is.
is true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Explain.
You can probably see it right
Explain.
now.
You
My
get a lot of
thumbnail's
people in the
dirty, but
comments.
so yeah. So I carry, as far as my hard baits, all my crank baits, my rattle traps, my jerk baits. I'll keep them in big boxes, and what I'll do, those only have hooks on about 25, sometimes even about 25% of them at most, and they'll always be new sharp hooks. And before, right when I get a bait, I'll make sure that the split rings are easy to open. If they're not, then I'll just swap all my split rings out, so I know I can open them. And it only takes me probably less than 30 seconds to swap hooks from one bait to another. So that way the hooks, when you carry them all in the box there, you have hooks on all of them, and you're trying to pull one out of there, and they're all getting hung up on each other. And, once one of them gets rust, it'll start spreading on all the rest of the hooks like cancer, it just, and the next thing you know, all your baits are messed up. So,
So wait a minute. So I want to get this straight. So you carry in a black pack, I assume, right? Like most of us, a 36 or 3700 box. And in all of your hard baits, you've only got a couple strategically that have hooks on them once you're on the water. Once you get
yeah. So, well, before I put in the black boxes, I'll have the 3700 planos, and when I go to a tournament, I'll have like got a bunch of those. I'll have those, all those in bins, however many, 20, 30 of them or whatever, and then I'll have my black pack, and I'll go into the, each of my rattle trap box, grab a few, put them in, you know, rip baits, few, put them in. And I kind of carry a limited amount once I'm in my kayak. But wherever I'm staying, you know, I'll have, you know, pretty much all my stuff
The
to load.
arsenal. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I really believe just having you know, hooks on just a few of the baits there, just like I said, makes it easier to grab them out of there. And you know, that way, once your hooks go bad, once I'm using them for a while and they're not sharp anymore, I'll throw them away and put in some new hooks. So
At what point did you realize if you keep a thumbnail?
well, I'd start trimming my thumbnails, and my thumbnails cut all the way down. I can't open up the damn split rings. And then finally, I kind of caught on to it. I'm like, I gotta keep a little bit of a nail there so I can swap these hooks out faster.
10 guys. Hey, you guys, the other 10 guys, are you listening to how focused this dude is? You're in trouble. I'm telling you right now. It keeps his thumbnail. Who? I wouldn't even consider that. That's mind blowing to me, bro. I love it. I mean, I bite my nails, so that's terrible. But I'm gonna work on that because I hate a split ring. I've got the little tool and
Oh,
it takes me
you
10
just got to
minutes.
get the right split ring. Like the Strike Kings, those are the worst, man. You can't open up those damn things whatsoever. Most of the that's kind of hit or miss. Some of the Strike King split rings are right, but most of them are you can't open. You know, even with split ring pliers, it's just about you know, it's pretty impossible. But
Sorry, Strike King, for the promo that we're not giving you here. My fault.
and
No,
they make great baits. They just
no,
don't
I'm
make
kidding.
good
I'm
split
kidding. I'm
rings, man.
kidding. Strike King don't know who I am, dude. You're good. So that's mind blowing to me. So now, staying on the tackle conversation, I got to do something. All right. Now, Ron's going to be on the show Tuesday night, and I love Ron Champion with all my heart. Ron, I love you, bro, but I got to call you out. I have put you on a pedestal for a long time and considered you to be the tackle junkie in the community. Studying on Rust today, I'm realizing that you may be number 2, Ron Champion. Russ, you are a tackle junkie. I mean, like junkie, right?
Just keeps accumulating, man. Like I said, I take care of my stuff, and a lot of it, you know, it's 15, 20 years old, but still in great shape. So it's, you know, it's not like I'm spending a ridiculous amount of money every year, but it's just the stuff I have, I really just hang on to it and take care of it. And you said that with my plastics, I'll save them, you know, from every trip. I just put a big old pile of them together, and after maybe a few months, you know, I'll mend all my plastics back together and put them back into packages and just try to take care of my stuff, and you
Now,
know, as long as you do that, it lasts.
I want to dive deep into this. Now, before I do that, let me preference this. And I'm going to throw an article up here on the screen. Mike Cheatham did a phenomenal write up on you for Angler, ANGLR. They are the host and the title sponsor for Angler of the Year. That's why it's spelled funny. Angler does a great job. They've worked really well with KBF this past year. But you are the reigning Angler of the Year. And so if you guys missed any of this, make sure you guys go in and check out this article. 10 competitors. Hello, is this thing on? If you guys haven't read this article, I almost would tell you at this point, don't go read it because it's going to intimidate you. Like it intimidated me. Now, I say it will. It should intimidate you. Don't go read it. You don't want to. I'm telling you, don't go read it. Just don't. The rest of you, go read this because you don't have to fish against this guy in a couple of weeks. But in this, dude, I mean, you really went in depth and look at your tackle setup, bro. So you build what safely? Is it safe to say 70 or 80% of what you throw?
Yeah, no, I don't build plastics or anything like that, but all my jigs, spinner baits, chatter baits, buzz baits, all the stuff like that. You know, I build all that, and a lot of my hard baits, not all of them, maybe only like a third of my hard baits. I'll buy blanks from China, like, you know, Vision 110, Megabass knockoffs that usually, you know, they're usually $25. I can get them for $2 a piece, and I'll airbrush those up and stuff and paint them the way I like them. They're not as consistent though as the Megabass, you know, are always perfect right out of the package. For the knockoffs, you know, 1 out of 5 of them will kind of run funny, but they still work good. And, you know, that way I get to kind of dial in the colors and all that too. And, you know, as far as the jigs and spinner baits, all that stuff, just making all that myself, you really, really learn to really break down the lure and understand all the components of it. Order all my products, all my jig heads and stuff like that from Cast Industries. Order them in bulk. You have to buy, I think, 100 of them at a time. So it was a big investment initially, but it's definitely paid for itself. I might make spinner baits for probably less than $1.50 and jigs for under $1. Maybe $2 for a spinner bait. You got the little swivels and all that, but yeah, it's really cost effective, and just by building them yourself, you really learn to understand different components. It's like with spinner baits, there's about 10, 15 heads you can choose from, but when you make your order, you can tell them what size hook you want on it and what diameter wire, and even the bends in the wire, as far as you could say you want to, from the head to where you tie on the line ties, like 1.5 inches, and then from there until all those different components. You really, as you start to build them, you really understand why the lures work, and what makes that jig or that chatterbait or that spinnerbait effective.
So there's a real creative. I mean, you're an artist. I mean, there's a real creative mindset to the way that you do things, and you almost take that artist kind of a mindset with you to the water. I asked you this in our pre-conversation, but my assumption, as a guy who considers myself to be an artist as well, when you open your case and you start going through stuff, there's an emotional connection to that lure that I don't have from throwing. Sorry, Z-Man, I love you, but that I don't have from. I've got a case that of jackhammers that they send me, as many of them as I want whenever I want them, right? So I grab another one and I don't think twice about it. But it's like you said, understanding how that runs, understanding how that's dialed in, filing that down right, picking the right size hook because you're going to Florida over a 1/4 ounce or a 3/4 ounce, right? I mean, that's something that you've really dialed in these last few years.
Yeah, definitely. I've been making all my own lures, I guess, since I was probably 14. But didn't get good at it until I was probably a little older than that. First, it was, kind of a learning curve with that. But yeah.
What's your bread and butter? What do you think is if you were going to mass produce a lure and it was going to be the Rust, this was going to be the Rust, the Rust line, or the Snyders
Since
style.
moving out here, probably a swim jig. I mean, there's a swim jigs. There's a lot of different shapes, styles, and sizes, and trailer. It's kind of I've used a lot of different ones, so it wasn't really one in particular. But yeah, probably a swim jig. You just do a lot with it, and cover water with it, and fish it slow if you need to, and fish around wood or docks, rock, weeds. You can. If I had one lure to use, it'd probably be that.
Now you even you go as far as you do a lot with your soft plastics. Explain to us your soft. You keep up like 5-gallon buckets, right?
With the soft plastic, so
Yeah.
as far as storing, I used to have them all on pegboards, like that whole wall that you saw with all those like shoebox
Yeah.
style things there. I used to have everything on pegboards, and and then before I went to each tournament, I'd be grabbing stuff off all the pegboards, throwing it into Ziploc bags and stuff, and then heading out to the tournament. And then when I get back, I have to put all the stuff back on the pegboards, and sometimes
Like you're the only one
you
that
want
sees
them.
the pegboard. It looks great.
It looks great, but it's not really effective. It's taking a lot of time, man, to grab everything I needed and to put everything back. So what I did, I got rid of the pegboards and I put those. I just put shelves and got kind of plastic, like shoebox style
Yeah, these
bins.
bins. I get them
Yeah,
right
so all
here.
those
Yeah, yeah.
bins, like one will be just Senkos, one will be just Beavers, one will be, and the nice thing about it is they're not attached to the wall too, so I can just take them out. And if I want to grab the one in the back, I grab the one in the back, just grab whatever ones I need. Or if I want to, just grab a big bin, I'll just throw. If I know it's gonna be a Senko bite, I'll bring the whole dang shoebox full of Senkos, or it just makes things more efficient and quicker to gear up and just get ready for the tournaments and put stuff back. And I think it should be a little more effective. It's been one of my projects I just finished working on a couple months ago, but put a lot of thought into it, and hopefully it helps save me some time.
I don't want to put a man on blast, and I definitely don't want you punching me in the face in a couple weeks. But I'm going to put you on blast here a little bit. I mean, ladies, if there's any of you listening at home, I mean, this may be KBF's most eligible bachelor, and look at how meticulous he is. Look at the attention to detail. Ladies, you might need to take your shot. I'm saying between you and Matt Scotch, I mean, the 10 house is I mean, it's crawling with eligible bachelors. Dylan, are you single? I don't know if Dylan's single, but I mean, to have 2 or 3 of the most eligible dudes in the kayak space around. Ladies, what's up? I'm just saying, look at the attention to detail this man has. That's incredible. Incredible.
Yeah.
What was the turning point for you? I know you touched on it. You said you've been making them a long time, but what was the turning point for you? Was it the creative side of what you're doing, or was it saving money? Like, where did you get into, I'm going to start building this myself?
The turning point. Yeah, just cost effect. I guess when I was a kid, and what it was. I guess a buddy of mine I was fishing team tournaments with when I was a little kid. He gave me a bunch of jig heads and some rubber, and just kind of started going at it, and just I don't know where it escalated from there, but I liked it. I knew it could save me money, and so yeah, that's how I got into it, I guess. But it's definitely paid for itself at this point.
Sam Jones, I got to give you a shout out, bro. Comment of the night right there. Not for long with the sweet hair. Talking about Dylan's mullet being a bachelor. Dylan just cut. If you guys
awesome.
missed it, I'm telling you guys right now, go to Dylan's Facebook page as soon as you leave here. Dylan cut these vanilla ice sideburns in his head and has this mullet. I mean, it's still.
Is he leaving it for the 10?
He says he is, yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's not quite the Kentucky waterfall. Like, he's still got to let it grow out a little bit back there. You know what I mean? Once it gets Josh's length, in the back, then you got a Kentucky waterfall. But he's working on it. But, dude, like, when he said he was doing it, I called him. I was like, no way, you're not doing it. But he did it. So
that's awesome.
He may not be single for long, ladies. I'm just saying. He may not be single for, and then Matt Scotch can cook. Yeah. I mean, ladies, hello. So anyway, maybe we can start a dating. They're
gonna have to put up with somebody who's on the water quite a bit. That's the hard part.
I mean, a man that's home. My wife loves when I'm not home. Were you kidding me? Yeah, but we're in a 12-year marriage. I think she was happy the first year. She hasn't been happy since. So that's right. Yeah. So if you guys are just tuning in, welcome to the weigh-in. I'm your host, Scott Beutjer. We're on with the angler of the year this year, Mr. Russ Snyders, as he gets prepped to head down to Florida to get into the 10 competition. It's his first year in the house. As you can tell, if you've just tuned in, make sure you guys go back and check out the rest of this conversation that we've already started. This is a guy who is almost OCD in how he lays everything out and how meticulous he is at being organized, being prepared, being ready to go on the water when it's go time. I mean, for the most part, I know he works a real job and travels a lot, but this guy is, I mean, he's laser focused and tunnel visioned in on what it takes to win tournament day. And, and he's seen the benefits of that work ethic before he gets in the boat, be very successful, obviously, this year. If you guys missed any of this, you can go into kayakbassfishing.com/the weigh-in and download it there. You can go back and catch it on YouTube, or if you want to share it with a friend or family member that's not on Facebook, you can catch that at Scott Beutjer Fishing on YouTube. And of course, you can listen to the audio version here on every major podcast platform that's out there. We do that through Anchor FM. I want to give a big shout out to Tackle Warehouse, to Fish USA. Major spooler there, right? Tackle Warehouse is good too, but Fish USA invests in the community and continues to do so time and time again. And so make sure you guys go over there. They are America's tackle shop. They do phenomenal things, and we really appreciate them coming on and being sponsors of the weigh-in and doing so much throughout the community. I know that they're working on their booth now for the NC, and it's definitely something you guys want to continue to look at there. Boss man, we got to start talking about the 10 a little bit. This is a big deal.
I'm super excited for it.
This is a big deal, right? Yeah. I mean, did you? Let's back up a little bit. Did you go into this season chasing AOY and chasing the 10 house, or did
really my only goal was to get the regional angler of the year, which was my my focus, and after that I'll see where it takes me. Which I actually ended up not getting that. I missed it by 2 places to Mr. Cody Milton. And so 10 points, missed it by 2 places. But going into the National Trail Series Championship there in Wisconsin, I think I was in 5th place nationally for points. I really didn't even think, I knew there was a possibility of getting Angler of the Year, but I knew it was going to be a long shot. Pretty much I would have to win, and everybody, all 4 of those guys above me would have to kind of drop the ball a little, and that's what happened. I was pretty shocked when it all happened, but definitely grateful for how it all went down.
So did you or were you familiar, and did you watch the 10 last season?
I knew a little bit about it, just from talking to Josh and stuff like that, but I didn't know, all the details. I knew it was in Bienville, and there's a house that everybody stayed at, but other than that, I was a little confused between the 10 and then the 10 Invitational. I have a pretty clear understanding of it now, but I remember last year I was a little confused by how all of that, how
There's definitely times. There's definitely times, and Chad knows this. I've said this to Hoover. There's definitely times where there's so much that it can get a little confusing and get a little bit misconstrued. At the same time, there's so much. There's so many opportunities with KBF to go in and to do this and to do that. Whether I can't begin to list them, but there's always another opportunity and always another way. We seen just a couple nights ago with Brundle's interview. Chad comes right in and lays out right there. There's another opportunity. I mean, if that goes through, I mean, Brundle's looking at probably another $4,000 or so.
Yeah, he's always adding something to the pot. Chad's always full of surprises, and
there's always a carrot, bro. Like he's always trying to find another way to give back and another way to put more out there. Talking about money, you saw the payout chart. Let me throw it on the screen for everybody at home. What was your thought? Were you watching live, or did you find out after the fact when we launched this with Brad?
Found out not too long after. Somebody sent me. I saw it online somewhere. It was a little ways after, but yeah, I was thrilled to see that. Obviously, anytime you can go into a tournament and know you're getting a payday, and know that your travel expenses and pretty much everything is going to be covered, and you're going to be putting some cash in your pocket, even if you get 12th place. That's awesome. Really takes the pressure off of everybody, and really just probably makes it a more enjoyable experience. I think for everybody too, just being in the house together, knowing that everybody's getting the paychecks.
I want to play devil's advocate to that, Russ. Just for conversation. Is that better so that you don't have the pressure of going in, or do you think any of these other 10 guys are maybe have coasted a little bit this last week, 2 weeks, because they know they're getting a check regardless?
I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah, it does take some of the pressure off. You let your guard down a little bit, maybe, and kind of see where you're going. But yeah, I don't know. I'd rather it be that way than the other way around. That's for sure.
I got you.
I'd rather everybody be getting paid than
you're going to be
a little more relaxed,
right? I mean, for some of these guys are that some of these guys are that extreme. You're going down there and you're coming home and you're not having to take food out of your mouth or risk a power bill when you get home, if that was the case, or whatever. I mean, if you go down there and you skunk, you're not going to have ramen when you get home for a month, right?
Yeah. No,
that's a side. That's a little bit of relief. So now, have you been in a scenario where you've lived with the guys that you're directly competing with like this? Have you been in a scenario like this before?
And I've stayed in an Airbnb with probably 7 or 8 people. It's about the most. Usually we do between like 3 and 5, but I stayed in one house. There was like 8 guys there once, and I was competing against all of them. So I guess that's similar, but this is a little different dynamic in that it's such a small field. It's every single person that's in that tournament is in the same house. It's just not like a small group of a field of 100. So yeah, I'm sure people are gonna try to get under people's skin, or give them a hard time or get in their head, and I'm sure that's gonna be part of the game. But yeah, we'll see. Whoever can handle that the best will probably walk away the champion.
You know, walking away the champion and walking away with $10,000 in their pocket.
Yeah.
Down at the Kissimmee Chain of Lakes. That big shout out to Kissimmee Sports for all they're doing there. Once again, guys, we're talking about the 10, where the AOI right here, Mr. Russ, is fixing to head south, and leave the unusually warm temperatures of Tennessee to head south to the unreasonably warm temperatures of Florida. We hope it stays that weather because, I mean, that's kind of from what I understand, that's kind of your bread and butter, right?
What, the warm weather fishing?
I mean the warm weather, that type of fishing.
I think my strength is anytime I can cover water and kind of power fish. It's probably my strength. I mean, I feel comfortable, fishing during a cold front too. Sometimes the bite's really good for everybody. It's, there's a little bit more luck factor involved where if it's a really tough bite, you really gotta work for them, and it's tough for everybody. Sometimes that's a good scenario to be in too, as long as you can find that spot. That they're going to be concentrated in if a cold front was to come in. But if I had to choose,
what's the best case scenario? What's the perfect scenario for the weather, the fish bite, what you would be throwing? What's the perfect scenario to guarantee you a $10,000 check and a DZ the 10 champion title?
I don't know if anything's guaranteed in fishing, but
if you were going to draw it out,
punching. I like punching. I like throwing a swim jig. If a cold front comes through, it might end up punching. If it's warm, I'd love to throw a swim jig. If they're on beds though, it might be a Senko bite. In which case, Josh is probably going to do pretty good. But I'll be prepared. I'll be prepared either way. I don't want to go into it thinking like, oh, this is how I have to catch them. This is the weather I absolutely need. I'm just going to kind of roll with the punches and whatever's thrown at me, I'm going to, try to make the best of it.
I got you. Well, I'm going to briefly, everybody's been watching for the last 2 weeks, but I'm going to briefly run through this roster real quick. And then I want your thoughts on the same question I've asked everybody else over these shows. So we started off this series with Brad Case, who everybody calls the Frogman. This guy, this is his second 10 series. He's a competitor. He fishes a lot different than most people, but he's a gamer and he's ready to come down and play and ready to, as the elder statesman in the house this year, he's kind of ready to come down and put a whooping on some of these younger guys. Jamie Broad is a guy who there is zero reason why he can't come into Florida and cash this $10,000 check. This dude's committed. I literally watched him jump out of his boat without thinking about it at the national championship to grab his phone, like literally dropped his phone. I mean, didn't even move nothing else, like full clothes, 8:00 in the morning. It was freezing cold. He jumps right out, grabs his phone and keeps trucking along. The dude's determined. Casey Reed, if I was going to say somebody was more cerebral than even Russ, and this is just, I get to make those assumptions and make those calls because it's the opinion of me and it's my show, guys. So, but if there's somebody that's going to be more focused and more cerebral, it may be Casey Reed. Cody Milton seems to be America's choice. Seems to be America's pick. He's got the pretty boy looks. He's got the smile. He's got that swagger. But when he gets on the water, he's focused and he's deadly. The KBF kid himself, Dylan Fuqua, this kid's 15 years old. And I don't know whether or not the barber that he went to gave him some extra powers, but that mullet may just propel him into first place this year. Matthew Scotch, this dude's got a hardware room around tournament fishing that I think very few guys in the community even come close to touching. He's gonna be trouble. Derek Brundle won over the hearts of everyone with his interview a couple days back with everything that he's been through and what he's fought to, and he takes no day for granted. This dude gets out and charges hard. And Chad Hoover came on the show and surprised him and I both with an opportunity to put even more money in his pocket with the Brundle bundle.
Yeah, his story was really inspiring. Hearing that, it was really
he's incredible, man. He's a machine, dude. How can you not? Every day he gets up, he's excited, bro. Like it's how do you not fall in love with that, right?
Yeah.
So then we go into Ken Wood. Ken Wood, and I've said it, and I hate to put him on blast every single night, but Ken Wood, this is his second year back-to-back coming into the house, and I think he's probably has the biggest chip on his shoulder than any of these other 10 competitors because he's not satisfied with what he did last season, and he's coming back for redemption. He's coming back for redemption in this house, and I'm telling you right now, he's putting these other 10 guys on notice. Mike Elsey is the reigning kayak bass fishing national champion. This dude, much like some of these other guys, grew up in the community, grew up fishing, grew up on these waters, competed in the big bass boat world for a long, long time. Started doing the challenge series of stuff with KBF. One thing led to another, started fishing live tournaments. Not only did he win the kayak bass fishing national championship this past year in Shreveport, but he's carried himself super, super well to the point to where he's only the second national champion to make it to the 10 house. Josh Stewart needs no introduction. You guys missed his show last night. Although we didn't get to see him live, we got to hear some real comments from Josh. He's the only guy in the house who's been in the house every single year there's been the DZ10 competition. 4 years in a row, he's come in. 4 years in a row, he's left not taking home the title. Russ Snyders, who we're talking to right now. Russ, you got your work cut out for you, bro, in just a couple of weeks down on the Kissimmee Channel Lakes. Give me 3 of these guys. I've asked everybody else. Give me 3 of these guys that can beat you, and why.
All right, we'll start with Cody Milton. I'd say would be the favorite in my opinion, just because of his experience down there. He lived there for a while. He's a really versatile fisherman. Just I mean, he can win anywhere, but the fact that he has a lot of time on the water, some of these lakes that we're going to be fishing, that'll be a big advantage. Second pick would be Josh Stewart. Just because it is anytime, especially when you're close to the spawn and they're eating a Senko, he's just tough to beat. I mean, he fishes everything, but I just have a feeling that it's going to line up for him pretty well. And my third would probably be Dylan, to be honest, just because he reminds me a little bit of me when I was that age, and just seeing how determined he is and how passionate he is about it. And he's just I don't think he's really letting any of these other guys get in his head. And for being somebody as young as he is, it's pretty exciting to see how he's picking up on things and how fast he's learning, and how competitive he is. So I'd say those are my 3 picks.
Incredible, man. Incredible. The Tinvitational. Now there's 12 spots, 12 payouts here for totaling $31,000. There's a 12th spot that a guy that we haven't talked about, that somebody can come in and win their way into this house during the DZ Tinvitational. If you guys if you guys know you're qualified for that, it's guys that you have to have been qualified at some point in time throughout KBF. Go over to Attorney X and check in and make sure that you're qualified. But get into that event because it's 100% payout. Plus, if you win it, you're in this competition. Plus, you're guaranteed another $1,000 on top of that win because you're now into this house. Russ, is there a guy coming down that you know of? Is there a female? Is there an angler that you know coming into Kissimmee Channel Lakes that you're worried could get into the house?
If I had to pick one, there's a lot of good fishermen coming down for that tournament.
Dude, it's your show, bro. Pick as many as you want.
Jody Queen. I think he had a lot of momentum going into the end of
Jody
toward the end of last year.
Fish.
Huh?
Jody doesn't know how to fish. Y'all don't be worried about
Jody. Yeah. He's one to worry about for sure. He'd probably be my top pick for somebody to come in and get into the house there.
I think I agree 100%. I think he's a lot of people's top pick. I think you got several guys. I think Craig Dye. I think Jason Broach. I think Corey.
Is Craig coming too?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Craig. I don't know if Craig's watching or not. Craig, we're putting you on the spot, bro. I'm not sure if you're coming down the Invitation or not, but I know he's a hammer.
Definitely be one to worry about too.
No, for sure, absolutely, for sure. Well, dude, one of the things that everybody talks about all the time is how nice you are, and how that almost, and I don't mean to compare you to Cody, but that Cody Milton smile and that opportunity to help. It seems like you're always willing to answer questions. I know that we see you in all the forums. You're always online and doing different things and helping folks, whether it's at a weigh-in, whether it's at a boat ramp. I mean, where does that come from, and that ability to want to teach and help other people? Where does that stem from, bro?
When I I started guiding when I was doing tournament fishing when I was younger, probably early 20s, and I really got into guiding about 25. But even before that, a lot of times I'd take a lot of my friends who weren't fishermen, just socialize with and hang out and party with, whatever. And we'd go fishing. So I guess my first real experience of teaching people was through friends and stuff, and just seeing them catch fish and seeing them learn just sometimes gives me more grateful for that than catching fish or competing myself. Just once I got into guiding more, and I met a lot of friends through guiding as well, but especially teaching kids and stuff like that. It's it's just a good feeling to know that you help somebody catch a fish or learn about fishing, and a lot of times it turns somebody on to a new passion that they didn't even know about. So, but yeah, sharing information is something that I've always been pretty open with. I hold back sometimes when it comes to tournament time, but for the most part, I'm pretty open to sharing my knowledge and helping others. And, and a lot of times you do that and treat people that way, and, they'll throw you a bone and, give you some knowledge for a tournament or teach you something as well. So, it goes both ways.
Incredible, man. Incredible, dude. Well, bro, you've absolutely come in and crushed this thing. I can't wait to see you in a couple weeks. Before you go, dude, let me roll out the red carpet for you like I do with everybody else. Give you an opportunity to thank family, friends, sponsors, anybody that you want to give a shout out to. I'll shut up and let them and let you roll out, bro. It's your mic.
All right. Well, yeah. My two sponsors are Hook One Outfitters and iRod Fishing. I've been with both of them for a couple years now. They really treated me well and supported me. I'm really grateful for that. And I just like to say out hi to all my friends, family, and my fellow competitors there at the KBF TN club we have here in Middle Tennessee. And yeah, that's about it.
Well, I'm going to give you an opportunity right here, Russ, to get to do something I've let nobody else do. But since you're the reigning AOY, I'm going to give you a shot right here to call your shot and to take the stage. So here's what I want you to do. You said two sponsors, and I know that you're doing well. I know that you're a super humble guy. But if there was another company out there that you're like, hey, I use your product, I'd love to be a part of this. Here's your opportunity, bro. I mean, we have a lot of audience watching. Who would you tap on your shoulder and go,
uh,
hey, do you see what I'm doing out here? This is not the time for humility, Russ.
I don't know. I'm working on a couple other sponsors potentially for this year, and I've been kind of haven't spoken to them directly, but kind of going through other people have brought it to my attention.
The shot, bro. National audience right here.
It'll work its way out either way. You'll see. Well, I'll have some new companies on board that I'll be supporting this year. But before I kind of make
Like,
note of
I'm not
that,
putting them
I'll
out.
let everything kind of work its way out first.
Guys, you see how cerebral he is. I don't know that any of the other 10 guys would have taken the road that he just taken. That he just taken. Anyway, I'm not an English major. But that's incredible, dude. And absolutely, man. I can't wait to see you in Florida in just a couple weeks. I appreciate you taking your time away tonight on a Sunday night, man, away from away from life to come in and have some conversation with us. Dude, I can't wait to spend some more time around you down in Florida and learn a lot myself. And we'll see you down there, bro. You've got all the reasons in the world to go down there and come home $10,000 richer.
I hope so. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna try my hardest. That's for sure. And I can't wait to get out there. And man, I haven't been fit to be honest since I got back from California about a month and a half ago. I think I've only fished 2 days for a few hours each time. So I'm like purposely depriving myself of fishing just so when I get down there, I'm hungry for it.
What's the schedule? What's your plan? What's your travel timeline for
I'm
going
gonna
down? And
fish a lot this year. So I have a power washing business where I power wash decks and fences, restain them and seal them. It's just I've had employees before in the past, but at this point it's just me, which kind of allows for me to make my own schedule and kind of it's a business I can kind of turn on and off whenever I want. And last year I probably worked half as much as I usually do. And this year, I don't know, I'm barely gonna work as long as I can keep making checks, I guess. But I'm gonna put a lot of time into fishing. I got some money saved, so hopefully I don't burn through all of it.
I mean, now will you touch all 3 trails this year?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the KBFs, the Southeast, mostly just the South. I'm gonna do all 3 of the KBF Southeast Division. Do a couple of the Pro Series, a couple of the Hobies, a couple of the Bassmaster. I'm planning right now to travel back out west to Clear Lake and the Delta too, which is actually 2 of the places I guided about 100 days a year on each of those spots. So I'm excited to get out there. I'm gonna get a couple kayaks out in California and have them out there for when I go back and vacation once or twice a year. So, yeah, I'm really excited for the season though. We'll see where it takes me, and once I kind of figure out once I get a couple tournaments under my belt and see where I'm kind of doing good at and where I'm not doing so good, that'll kind of point the direction I go into. So.
We'll talk privately whenever we get down in Florida, but just know I'm coming with a pocket full of cash, and I want to take a look at some of these handmade baits that you do. I'm just saying.
Okay.
All
right.
We're gonna talk. I need all the help I can get. I'm a terrible angler, bro. I can't fish for nothing. Like, I mean, I'm terrible. So I need all the help I can get. I'll bring a pocket full of cash, and we're gonna talk. All right.
All right.
All right, buddy. I appreciate your time, man. Thanks for coming on with us tonight.
All right, Scott. Appreciate the opportunity. You have a good one. See you in a couple weeks, man.
Absolutely, dude. Can't wait, man. That guys, that wraps it up. Holy crap. Did you guys know? I mean, I'm telling you, you got to go back and check out that angler interview that our own Mike Cheatham did. It's a phenomenal piece. I'll drop it in the link here when all this is said and done. But Russ is what a class act on the water and off. This is a dude who does it the right way, puts in the time. I'm interested. I would be willing to take the bet and definitely get into the debate of who puts in more time tournament morning than Russ does. I don't know. And I think it's hard to sit and talk to these gentlemen like I've done for the last 12 days as a guy who is a self-proclaimed terrible angler, and not learn from them. Learn from how they set everything up beforehand. Learn how meticulous they are and where they lay out and how they do map study. Every one of these guys does something a little different, but every single one of these guys puts in the work well before tournament morning. If you're like me and you're running around and thinking about, like Mike talks about in his post, kind of figure out, do I got enough sandwiches and snacks for the tournament? Or do I know where the captain's meeting is, or where the weigh-in is going to be done? Like, that's my prep work for tournaments, right? Well, that's why I'm not cashing any checks, because that's the prep work I'm doing, as these guys are studying maps and looking through GPS photos and graphics and coordinates and watching YouTube video after YouTube video of the lakes that they're fishing. These guys are putting in work. And I'm excited and very, very hopeful that these guys continue, and even more so start to get paid for the work that they're putting into it. And it's time. These guys have got the audience. These guys have got the ability. They've got the skills. We've proven over the last 2 weeks that they have the backstory. They have the reasons to get involved in them emotionally. The emotional part of this, the storytelling, that's what builds an audience. That's what I'm trying to do. That's all I'm trying to do here with these shows, is to give you guys some context as to who these guys are. I've said it once, and I'll say it till the day that I get out of this community, or the day that I take my last breath. I'm drunk on this sport. I am so just enamored with the men and the women and the people in this community that I'm spending all of my free time and a lot of my not free time walking around trying to get anyone and everyone I can to take a shot, to take a hit off of what this community has to offer. This community is incredible. So, guys, I hope you've enjoyed all of this stuff. I'm sorry I got off on a tangent and rambled. I love this shit. It is good. And if you guys miss any of this, tomorrow night we won't be here. Tomorrow night, if you missed the announcement earlier, tomorrow night we've got planned to come on with Ron Champion and Corey Dreyer. Tomorrow night's the national championship game. College football, that's a thing, right? We're still, we're there. It's the last game of the season. We won't do a show tomorrow night. So we're going to do that show on Tuesday night. We're going to have Ron on. We're going to have Corey on. Those guys are the co-champions of the first ever DZ, the 10 competition. And there's a whole bunch of history and a whole bunch of backstory that I didn't even know until recently. And we're going to put all that stuff out for the public to see and to know, air out a little bit of laundry, talk a little bit about what it was like that first year. Those guys, that whole house, were pioneers in getting to where we are today. And where we are today is just days away from Kissimmee chain of lakes down in Florida, where these guys are going to compete for over $30,000 worth of cash. $30,000 thanks to Kissimmee Sports and DZ, and of course kayak bass fishing. So if you missed any of this, make sure you catch it up on kayakbassfishing.com/the weigh-in. You can catch these same broadcasts here on YouTube, on my channel, Scott Beutjer Fishing, or on every major podcast platform. You'll be able to download the audio. Russ is still in the green room. Looks like he's checking out that thumb, making sure that nail is dialed for those split rings. He's laughing at me. But guys, I'm telling y'all, this community is it. If you're even contemplating getting in a plastic boat or going to fish a tournament, sign up right now. Go to kayakbassfishing.com. Sign up to become a member. I think it's like $50. I think there's even cheaper for some of the ambassador. Get in the challenge series. Get into your local clubs. Bigger and better than anything that I could sell you here. Go meet with some of these guys behind their back of the tailgates of their trucks at these boat ramps. This kayak community is special. I say it all the time. The greatest people I've ever met on this planet spend their free time in these little bitty plastic boats. Go get involved in this community. I promise you it's worth your time. I'm going to shut up. That's the weigh-in. I'm your host, Scott Beutjer. I'll catch you guys next time. Telling you guys always to tackle your dreams. We'll catch you guys later. See ya. You guys know that on Tackle Your Dreams, y'all can go to Fish USA, right? You can use that as a promo code. I'm just saying. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nod, nod. Hello. Tackle Your Dreams. FishUSA.com. Save some money, shawty. All right, I got to go. For real, I'm done. Y'all, why are you still here? Get out of here. Go. I'm waiting. You know what? I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait on you guys.